Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
It's 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You've heard the expression, I guess you couldn't even call it a cliche. You hear it so much. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure or something like that, right? One of the things that's so interesting when you speak to different people is what one person will say, this is the way to prevent something, an illness, specifically something physical. And this is another way. Some people say tea, some people say herbs, some people say just running, or I don't know, more positive thoughts. Or Dr. Mimi Grarneri probably has heard all of them and then some. She is the president of the American Board of Integrative Holistic Medicine. She's board certified in cardiology, internal medicine, nuclear medicine, which I never understood what that meant, and as well as holistic medicine. So she's probably able to heal people on both sides of the oceans. She's also an author, by the way. We're going to talk to her right now about prevention and how we can use the science that we know, and as well as maybe some of the cures that have been handed down through culture, I guess you would say. Dr. Mimi Grarneri, good morning, doctor.
Hi, good morning. It's great to be here. Thanks.
Where are you right now?
I'm in La Jolla, California, so I'm on the West Coast.
La Jolla, wow. Long time. I haven't been there in a long time anyway, so thank you for getting up early to be with us. Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, okay, so you're in a place that people say, and they say that about Florida too, if you want to stay well, go into a warmer climate.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to that, especially when that cold winter rolls in, and it's not even safe to walk on the streets sometimes, especially for older people.
But they say that it's not the cold that gets you sick, it's the fact that you're indoors with everybody else who might be sick.
I think that's true of all the viruses and things we see, definitely.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that piece.
What is integrative medicine? What does that expression actually mean?
You know, in the 90s, as a cardiologist, I was doing a lot of surgeries. I was putting in a lot of stents. And I realized that what we did in Western medicine for acute care was really good. You know, if you're having a heart attack, we need to be in a major health facility. But I realized also what we were doing for prevention was about zero. We would put in a stent, and then we would serve our patients a roast beef sandwich in the ICU. So there was this huge disconnect. So I was looking for a term in the 90s that would sort of coin how we have the best of both worlds, intervention and prevention. And at that time, Andy Weil had started to use the term integrative. And I thought, wow, integrative medicine makes a lot of sense because we want to do the best of what Western medicine has to offer. So we're not really alternative medicine, but we also want to do everything that we can to prevent disease in the first place and use all of the global healing traditions, whether it's traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. So that's how the term integrative medicine came about.
Interesting. Can somebody jump on the bandwagon late and reverse some of their bad, like in other words, if I had a roast beef sandwich, I'm not going to have it anymore now that I just found out what you just said.
Yeah.
but let's say that all my life, and this is probably true for me, I've been eating the things that you as a cardiologist, if you opened me up and you looked at my heart, my arteries, you might say, whoa, what the heck have you been eating? Can I eat anything now, or can I get on the bandwagon late and reverse those things?
Absolutely. There was this great study that was done in Europe called the HALE study where they took older people, you know, somewhere in the tune to like 70 to 90 years old. And they said, let's get you walking every day. Let's really, you know, only small amounts of alcohol. Let's get you eating a Mediterranean diet. And they showed 60% reduction in cardiovascular events, reductions in cancer. So it's never too late to start.
Does it open up the arteries or clear? You know, we hear clogged arteries. Is that even accurate?
Yeah, well, arteries do clog. It's like rust in a pipe, right? So you can have calcium in the lining of the artery, or you can actually have plaque, you know, impinging on the blood flow. And one of the programs we have over at the Atlantic Health System at the Center for Well-Being is the Ornish Program for Reversing Heart Disease. And with that program, and I was part of the research in the 90s, we showed that through yoga and meditation, a plant-based diet, group support, and fitness, that we can decrease chest pain, what we call angina symptoms, by 90%, and we can reverse plaque in vessels. So it's sort of like a natural approach to cleaning out the arteries.
Oh, wow.
Does anxiety come to the top of the list when people see you about their ailments? Do you kind of like get into their heads to see if that's really the root of the problem?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. You know, the bottom line is I always say, what's driving the train, right? And what the research shows is that stress, depression, anxiety, and certain emotional states like anger, cynicism, and hostility are really bad for our health. So, you know, if you think about it this way, as a cardiologist, I see people who overeat, overdrink, smoke cigarettes, all of these what we call addictive behaviors. And very frequently these addictive behaviors are being driven by, quote unquote, I'm so stressed out. Oh, I had such a hard day at work, I went home and drank a bottle of wine. And we laugh about that, but you know, it's a real scenario.
Oh, wow. Did you say earlier that we should take walks and have a little bit of wine? Is that what you said or no?
I did. You said the key. You know, we live in a culture where if a little is good, we always think more is better, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, we say a little bit of wine with the Mediterranean diet for those that enjoy it. But we have to remember wine is sugar. It's calories. It can raise blood sugar. It can raise triglycerides. So, you know, it's not one size fits all, right? So integrative medicine is personalized. It's what you need, for example. Not everyone needs the same thing. There are many paths to healing, we say. So it's personalized. It's proactive. We don't want to wait for you to get sick. We want to keep you well. And it's participatory. I need you to participate or it's not going to work.
Do you have any success stories you can share with us? I don't mean to throw you a curveball, but maybe a story about somebody who was really like knocking on death's door and you gave them the warning or gave her the warning and they changed and everything went the other direction?
I have many of those stories. Actually, it's not a curveball at all. And I actually wrote a book called The Heart Speaks, and it's a cardiologist talks about the language of healing. And really, it's a story about my patients. And every story in the book is true. And it's about how people, sort of come in and say, okay, I remember one man said to me, I've been given 1 year to live. And I said, first of all, no one knows that. I don't like when people in white coats, i.e. physicians, healthcare providers, do what I like to call voodoo death, where you tell people you're going to live 2 months or 3 months, because no one knows. And he and his wife came in. I said, well, we're going to put you in a research study. We're doing the Ornish program for reversing heart disease, and I need you to eat a plant-based diet. So here's an older guy. I'm telling him to be a vegetarian. I'm telling him he's going to go to yoga and meditation class, right? And he says to me, if you think I'll be alive at 1 year, which was when the study ended, he said, I'll do anything. Well, he lived 10 more years and ended up dying in an auto accident, of all things.
Oh.
So I have many, many of these stories. Lives can be transformed. There's no doubt about it.
Wow. I just went to your website. You're a pretty lady, too. That gets my heart going right there. Right there.
Thank you.
My heart, Robin. It's palpitating.
Yes.
It's palpitating. Doctor, we're up against the break that Robin told you about before we went on the air. So we need to take that break, got a weather report and a couple of commercials, and including an ad for a chicken sandwich. But we'll be right back with Dr. Mimi Grarneri in just a bit. This is The Source, WOCA, Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, times of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and thunderstorms around, high 86 to 90. And partly cloudy tonight. There can still be a shower or thunderstorm near the coast, low 71 to 75. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorms spreading from the coast early to farther inland during the afternoon hours, high 87 to 91. For Sunday, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm, high again 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Who would you feed if you had 50 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A? WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall have teamed up to reward one organization with 50 chicken sandwiches as a way of saying thanks for the great work that organization is doing in our community. And we need your help. See, there are so many great people doing great things that we need nominations. You can nominate your own organization or any organization you choose. Simply send an email to WOCA@WOCA.com and in 350 words or less, tell us why the organization you are nominating should receive 50 free chicken sandwiches from WOCA and Chick-fil-A at the Paddock Mall. We'll review your nominations and then select one deserving organization each month. We'll announce the winner and even read the winning entry on the air. Make sure to include the contact name and phone number of the organization that you are nominating. And thanks from your friends at WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Stair workouts burn more calories than walking, up to 100 calories in 15 minutes. So 10 trips up and down between floors in your own house counts as part of your daily exercise requirement. And if you find yourself dreaming during power naps, it's a telltale sign that you're sleep deprived. Don't ever touch your eyes when you're flying, your nose, or your mouth until you do wash your hands.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
All right, thank you. 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Dr. Mimi Grarneri is on the phone. By the way, her book is called The Heart Speaks. A cardiologist reveals the secret language of healing. And I was just looking at the reviews on Amazon, and it's an amazing 50 people gave it 5 stars, some really good reviews. And one thing I was thinking about, Doctor, did we lose you, Doctor? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, good,
I'm right
good.
here with you.
One of the things I was thinking about during the break is this, that, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, you probably have, that the poor people, once upon a time, actually had a healthier diet because the rich people would have meat every single day, and the poor people would have meat like on Thanksgiving, or it was very rare for them to have meat. They couldn't afford it. So it was very special to have meat. Therefore, they ate less of it because they didn't have any money. And they, in turn, became healthier or stayed healthier.
Right. Well, it's interesting because I grew up with a grandmother who used to tell me that when she lived in Italy and the workers in the field would be working all day, so means physical activity, bending, pulling, weeding, planting, and then they would come in and they would eat pasta with beans, pasta with, what we call pasta fagioli, beans, peas. They would eat lentil soups, all this food from the earth, lots of greens. And she's the one who pointed out to me at a young age that the workers in the field ate much better than the people who were quote-unquote wealthy, who were eating cheese and cream and lots of fatty foods. But I think it's a couple of pieces. One is, of course, years ago people would work outside. They would go and hang their laundry. They would be much more physically active, and we automated a lot of our life, right? So we're much more sedentary. You didn't need a family fitness center years ago. You went out and you worked, you walked, and so on, right? Plus, we also changed the food supply in this country. We sort of sent out the message to the world that fat is bad, right? And we started to then put high fructose corn syrup in everything, and people started saying, well, fat is bad, but let me eat a lot of sugar. And now we have a sugar epidemic, a simple carb epidemic causing all this obesity and diabetes. But, when people say to me, it takes too much money to eat healthy, I say, no, it doesn't. You can buy a bag of lentils, you can put in some greens, you can put in some onions. I mean, it's easy, some beans and peas and whole wheat pasta. It's not expensive to eat healthy, and you really can.
The Atkins diet, as far as just eating like bacon and meat and staying away from bread and pasta and all those things. When I first heard that, my gut instinct was, that's crazy. But some people were swearing by it. Some people were losing weight with it. They might have been losing weight, but were they hurting themselves in another way?
Well, think about it. You have to look at it twofold, right? So people keep saying, "Oh, I eat all this meat. Look at how much weight I'm losing."
Right.
What they really needed to say is, "Look at what I'm giving up." So they gave up their French fries, they gave up their breaded onion rings, their white bread, their buns, their rolls, their bagels, their cookies, cakes, candies, ice cream. So that's the good news, right? So they cleaned out all the white stuff because all the white stuff just makes you fat. And then that was the good news about that. But beef and gravy as a beverage is really bad for the kidneys. The kidneys can't process that amount of animal protein. So you become a little bit more, you sort of think, okay, so maybe I should eat more healthy sources of protein. Maybe I should eat some wild salmon or some wild trout, so you shift it from the beef, pork, lamb, gravy, and bacon to more healthier protein sources, including beans, lentils, legumes, and so on.
Okay. The holistic part of what we wanted to talk about today is that what would that be? Would that be something I eat at the health food store, or do I get that at the grocery store too?
Holistic just means whole, treating the whole person, body, mind, emotions, and spirit. And you guys asked the question earlier. You said, what's the effect of anxiety? What's the if we don't treat the whole person and we just say, okay, your cholesterol's high or your blood sugar's high, here's your drug, right? Here's your ill to the pill. We name something and we give you a pill.
Right.
We're going to miss what's causing it. And so with holistic medicine, we'd say, hey, is your blood sugar high because you're stressed? Is it high because you're not exercising? Is it high because you're eating the wrong foods or you're exposed to toxins? Let's get to the underlying problem. So it's taking care of the whole person.
And when a person is building their body, they can kind of equate that to building a house, because if the roof isn't on right, it's going to leak and the people inside are going to be miserable. Well, that's exactly the way the human body is. If there's some kind of muscle ache going on, and it's going to affect the rest of the body, so you have to get to the problem.
Absolutely. So over at Atlantic Health at our Wellbeing Center, we chose the logo of a tree. And people say, why did you choose a beautiful tree? And we always point out that you can have sick fruit on a tree, right? And you can say, oh, I have a lot of sick fruit. I have diabetes, I have depression, I have heart disease. And Western medicine will just say, okay, let's cut the branch off. We'll get rid of that sick fruit, or let's bypass it, or let's drug it. Everything has a label and a drug. In holistic medicine, we look at the soil. We say, why is the tree sick? And that how we live our life, our fitness, our sleep, our food, our supplements, our relationships, all of those things go into the soil, and then you think of the trunk of the tree almost like your DNA. So when you look at our logo, you'll see a twist to the trunk of the tree, because how you live your life interacts with your genes to determine whether you're going to be healthy or sick.
So how do we use the information? Does the book, as far as explaining it all, it sounds like it does a really great job. Does it take the guy like me and kind of just tell me, here, go to the store and buy this? I mean, and does it come right out and tell me?
My book, The Heart Speaks, really is a book of teaching through story. And so that book was written from my journal, actually, so that people and families can say, hey, that sounds like my dad, or if this guy could do it, I can do it. There's prescriptive information in there, but for prescriptive information, I would send people over to my Great Courses course, which is called The Science of Natural Healing. That's very prescriptive, but also over at the Atlantic Health website, if you come over there to Center for Wellbeing or my personal website, lots of food handouts, lots of information so that people can at least get started and then ultimately find a physician that specializes in this. We have physicians and healthcare providers now that are specialists in integrative holistic medicine.
When part of the notes to prepare for this interview mentioned Chinese herbs, and I wanted to ask you first of all about them, but also if you could throw into the conversation herbs that are natural here. Like if we could go back in time to the Native Americans, I'm sure they were eating. I would think. I mean, it sounds like they were eating pretty naturally. So do we have herbs here? Do we have to go to China for herbs?
Mm-hmm. No, we don't have to go to China for herbs, and I would just put that on the side. And I look at all herbs and supplements as a supplement to good health, to good nutrition and good lifestyle. That's, supplements come after we do our good lifestyle and, fitness and proper food. But you have to remember, most of our pharmaceutical drugs come from the earth. So if you take white willow, gives us aspirin, for example. Poppies give us morphine. The Pacific yew tree gives us a breast cancer drug called tamoxifen. And the beautiful foxglove plant gives us a heart medicine called digoxin. So many of our pharmaceuticals come from Mother Nature, and we just hone in on a specific ingredient and make a pharmaceutical drug. So yes, botanical medicine, herbal medicine is powerful medicine. I'll give you one simple example. Curcumin, which is, turmeric, lowers blood sugar. It's an anti-inflammatory agent. So something as simple as that can have a profound effect on the body.
Let me ask you about curcumin and turmeric, because I went looking for this one time because I read this article and was, I got sucked into it like a lot of people do.
Me too.
What do I buy? I mean, when I go to the store, it says turmeric, and then, where do I find curcumin? I mean, it's always one is the other.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the label just say one?
Yeah. Well, let me put it to you this way. First of all, any supplement you get, you want to do pharmaceutical grade. So again, when we handpick supplements for our center, we have supplements that you cannot get in the routine pharmacy or in your drugstore usually. And I'll just tell you this one little secret about turmeric or curcumin, which is sort of the base plant. The base of it is it really requires a piperine, which is black pepper, for absorption. And so you have to really have the right formulation. And then whenever you think about going to a supplement, you want to make sure, is it pharmaceutical grade? And am I taking the dose that was used in the research study? For example, there's many supplements that can lower cholesterol. Let's take Reggie's rice, for example. But if you don't take a pharmaceutical grade Reggie's rice and you don't take it in the doses that was or used in the study, or the product that was used in the study, you may not get the same results.
All right.
Oh, no, that's fascinating.
Obviously, the radio interview can only scratch the surface. I'm looking at the clock and think we have to wrap it up. But, Doctor, thank you for being on. Before we run out of time, please give us some websites so that we can look further.
Absolutely. You can go to atlantichealth.org/Center for Wellbeing for information on integrative holistic medicine. If you need a practitioner in your area, anywhere in the U.S., you go to ABIHM, American Board Integrative Holistic Medicine.org, and we have lists of physicians that have been trained, certified across the country. And if you go to my website, mimiguarnerimd.com, I have lots of food handouts and things that you can download to get started.
Okay. This interview, by the way, will be on the WOCA YouTube channel for the listeners who want to share it with somebody or just kind of listen to it again. The website, mimiguarnerimd.com, is already on our guest list. So if you go there, you can find that easily instead of trying to write it down while you're driving. And the other two websites we'll put on there now that we know what they are. Dr. Mimi Grarneri, thank you for being on the air with us. That was a great interview.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
And we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.